Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another installment of TEDXcellence, the show where occasionally I stumble over my own introduction. And I come to you live, or is it Memorex, from Crater Valley on the moon with Dogcat Fox, a Pepperjack, and all of you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome again to Thursday. Yes, it is Thursday, the penultimate day of the work week. Hope you're all doing well on this beautiful Thursday evening as I try to get my words in front of me here. I told a fib. I don't actually have a Pepperjack tonight. I have hot cocoa. I know it seems odd on a summer evening to have some hot chocolate, but I decided I wanted some hot chocolate. And, I could be mistaken. I think I'm not. I think StreamYard has changed up the UI a little bit. I think my avatar is just a bit smaller on the screen than it usually is. Maybe that's just me. I think it is, though. But I don't know, if I click the thing again, will that change it? No. All right. My discerning eye, do I spy a change in the scenery? But otherwise, who's joining me on this beautiful Thursday evening? Advocatus Diaboli, hello. Keeverdam, hello. And thank you, Keeverdam, as always, for providing the link at the top of the chat box, guys, for our friend Angela Arriaga. GoFundMe there for her home-based business. She's trying to get started up. If you guys can take a look at that and donate, please do so. But even if you can't, if you can share that out on social media, that would be appreciated. So thank you ahead of time for that. And thank you, Keeverdam, for providing the link. Adam Nixon, good evening. The Alexander, hello. Mike R, hello. Kiro Soldier, hello. Who else is here? Tack Alpaca, hello. Walter Tomaszewski. I've taught my cats how to cook using my crock pot. Scribe, you want some ratatouille? And to cool off with mice cream? I appreciate the thought, but I'll leave it to you guys. I've already had my dinner. Not a very good dinner. Well, I mean, it was junk food, but anyway. Funtime Bats, hello. And yes, Funtime Bats is over on the X machine. Everybody, if you have an X account, go check out the stream as it is posted over on X. And if you are able, please do retweet it out. Appreciate it when you do. As far as I know, it's the only way that it makes sense to stream on X is if people know that it's there, because I don't think people get alerts to those things on X like they do on YouTube for these, purportedly. Anyway, Robert Pincus, hello. And Found, thank goodness you are here. Found, I have to apologize. 2 or some odd streams back, you announced the arrival of a new child into the world. I missed it, and I felt bad afterwards, and I was looking for you the last couple of streams to say congratulations, and yay, baby. I hope baby is doing well, and congratulations to you and the family. So there, I have fulfilled my moral remit. Or something. Adabisi, hello. Miranda Stone is here. Oh, guys. I don't know if you know about Miranda Stone, but let me tell you. Bridget is here. Good evening, Bridget. The Best Remy, hello. Blitz Zero, hello. JPS, good evening. Morgan King, hello. Simon Willikins, hello. Pope Elmo the First. My gosh, we're being greeted by ecclesiastical royalty, everybody. There's a first. Zalbla! Now there's a name I haven't said in a while. Zalbla! How you doing, Zalbla? Hope you're doing well. Nice to see you. Faustonia, hello. Who else is here? Oh my gosh. So many names I haven't said in a while. The Memes of Destruction, hello. And I think that's everybody. If I missed you, if you're lurking, if you're in the future, good evening. I noticed last time on TEDXcellence, at the peak of the show, I counted something like 240 viewers at one time, which is crazy for this show. You know? I mean, I'm not a big channel, even after all these years. And I appreciate everybody who shows up and everybody who watches. But 240 people, I think that might have been as a result of people sharing this out on X. So I don't know. I'm just guessing. Let's see. Also, Old Guy, good evening. Anybody else I missed in the meantime? I don't think so. And found, you are welcome. Yeah, so congratulations and yay, baby! But speaking of babies, well, I'm not speaking of babies. I'm speaking of men. Yes, everybody, men, manly men. Yes, so we are going to learn tonight what mindfulness and meditation can do for men. Now, when I saw this title, well, I'll tell you what brought me to this decision. I was over on Midnight's Edge in the Morning the other day, on the Wednesday, and usually on Midnight's Edge in the Morning on a Wednesday before I leave the show when I have to go back to work, I'll let people know either what I've already selected for TEDXcellence or what the options are. And I get some reactions from my fellow panelists. And my friend over at Latino Slant, Polly, he reacted quite strongly to mindfulness and meditation in regards to his history with martial arts and learning mindfulness and meditation for the sake of martial arts. And so he said he would be interested to see what this guy had to say on the subject. And so I thought, well, then I guess I'm interested in what he has to say. Ost Zan, hello. Zan Wild, hello. And John Trioxon, good evening. And so when I saw this title, when I originally picked it out, I thought to myself, okay, well, it's something about what can it do for men. And so in my sort of ingrained suspicion, I am the suspicious creature that modern culture has made me. And so I thought to myself, okay, well, so does this guy have a sort of presumed baseline of men requiring some kind of mindfulness and meditation, that their sort of default setting is unmindful and, angry? Is that it? Is this some kind of toxic masculinity talk? Is it something like, oh, just count to 10 when you get angry so you don't explode to control yourself? Or is there something far more benign here? I don't know. We'll find out together. Pope Tyrannus III, the Blessed Lich. Now, I don't think I've said that name in a little while either. Where have you been? All these people. All you guys. I wonder where you've been. So, Tyr Alexander, hope everything's all right. Nice to see you. Oh, by the way, I don't know. I'll be curious to find out if anybody notices, but I have made a change to the show. Not the size of my avatar, that apparently was a StreamYard thing. I made a change to my show in response to some feedback I got. I don't know if anybody will notice, but if you do, and you know who you are if you do notice it, let me know. Kirsten Scholl over on the X Machine as well. Yes, guys. Remember, check me out on X and retweet. Oh, D&D night is there. Oh, well, did you guys cancel tonight? Oh my gosh. And Random American, hello. Theater Wench Ginger, good evening. But anyway, guys, so yes, we're going to find out how mindfulness and meditation can improve men, or what they could do for men, because men don't practice these things in the first place, I suppose, or something. This talk is just under 17 and a half minutes. Holy cow. Tonight's bingo card is bingo card C. C as in Carrie. That is in the Stephen King movie, or not the Stephen King movie, but the movie about the Stephen King story, because today's bingo poll was about, in the mindfulness realm of things, who was the best mind-powered character. There was the Dead Zone, there was Firestarter, and there was Carrie. I didn't mean for all of them to be Stephen King properties, but Stephen King leans on mental powers a lot, I guess. But Carrie won, so get your bingo card C's ready. Links to the bingo cards are in the description below. Tony Giff, hello. Anybody else before I start? I think I got everybody. Hopefully I will see anybody that I missed and say hello later on. So here we go, guys. Start off with a few seconds for a sound test. You guys tell me if you can hear it, and then we will proceed. Okay, well, can you hear the cheering and the claps and everything? If you can hear that, I think we're in good shape. Let me know in the chat. And let me have a little bit of my hot cocoa. Oh, good cocoa. No, you can't have any cocoa. It's not good for your stomach.
Wowie, wow, wow.
No, it's your digestive tract can't handle the chocolate. You don't have the whatever the enzyme is. I didn't program that into you when I made you in the lab. Wowie, wow, wow. I can't change your genetic makeup right now. Okay, maybe later. I'll see what I can do. Fun Time Bats, thank you so much. Said hi on X because I got a notification there and not from YouTube. Oh my gosh, guys. Well, this would be a good time to remind. YouTube is changing what it counts as a legitimate view on a video or a live stream. Yes, so just viewing a video now does not count. It does not help the algorithm, does not help the content creator, does not help the channel or the video. You have to also engage with said content. And that means at least liking the video or stream or leaving a comment at some point. You have to actually confirm that you are a person or at least a thing that interacted with the video. So if you have not already, I would appreciate it if you would hit the like button or, I suppose, the dislike button. Engagement is engagement. Let's see, Adabisi says it's a bit loud. Can I reduce the volume? Let's see if the speaker outpaces the canned applause, and then we'll find out. Oh, everybody's saying lower the volume. Okay, well, I'll bring it down just a smidge.
I have won the lottery.
Well, goody for you. How's the volume on the speaker? I brought it down a little bit. Bring it down more? Let me know. In the chat. Do 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 do. Better? Okay. I'll make it a smidge lower. Okay. All right. And this is the natural volume. This I actually felt like I didn't have to fix the volume on this one.
But before you stop me outside and ask me to pay off your mortgage, I don't mean that lottery.
Oh, do you mean like you're not the one that has to be stoned kind of lottery?
I have won the lottery of life.
Oh, did you spin the wheel and you can be a winner at the game of life?
I'm white. I'm mostly able-bodied.
Oh,
I'm
God.
not living in poverty.
Uh-huh.
And the bonus ball is I'm a man.
Oh, boy, guys. Oh, I'm getting that 2018 feeling as I write. Oh, boy. Okay, going over to the bingo card. I'm going to circle patriarchy. And I'm going to circle privilege. I just can't help myself. Can't help myself. And I'm going to, let's see, collectivize his own demographic. Boy, oh boy, we're not even 30 seconds into this thing. Boy, howdy, guys, this is great. Oh, man, it's like the old times. All right, so far on the board, after less than a minute, we have patriarchy, free space, privilege, collectivizes own demographic. Oh, who knows where this is going to take us now? And there's still like 17 minutes left in this.
And I did check that this morning before I came out. I'm a man living in a man-shaped world, and by all accounts, I should be absolutely crushing it.
But you're an absolute failure, even with all these advantages?
But I'm not.
Why not? It must be out of free choice, right? Because if the whole world is constructed to your benefit, then you must be choosing to lose. Choose to lose. It sounds like something I should put on a t-shirt.
I often feel disconnected. I struggle with my emotions. I feel lost.
Well, if you're lost, I know found.
And standing up here in front of all of you saying that feels a little bit disingenuous.
Oh.
Because there's been so many good things which have happened over the years to support women and other genders.
Women and other genders, plural? Oh boy. I am getting that 2018 feeling.
And for me to stand up here and take up that space, I feel a little bit self-conscious.
Oh, well, you know what? You should get off that stage. All right? Because you don't deserve to be there. If you actually believe in what you're saying, if you actually believe that you are the unintended recipient of unearned privilege, and that the position that you hold in society, at the very least, if not within your own self-esteem, is something that was given to you and not earned, that has been illegitimately placed upon you, well, then you are in decidedly the wrong place. You need to get off that stage and give the microphone, proverbially or literally, to someone who is far more disadvantaged than you are. I mean, otherwise, you'd be kind of a hypocrite, wouldn't you?
But I know that it's important to talk about these things.
Oh, you know it's important to talk about these things? What informs you of that? Is it your privilege?
4 or 5 years ago, we all went through a thing called the lockdown.
The lockdown.
And that was a time where we had communities which were coming together. We had relationships which were really meshing together nicely.
Yeah, mainly for me, this live stream. I was doing a TEDx. You guys remember this. You veterans remember this. Nearly every day for those first several weeks of the lockdown, I was doing a TEDx stream every day to distract myself from the boredom and the fear and the anxiety and everything else that was going on at that time. Had to cut down after a while.
But we also had things which were pulled apart.
Oh, yes.
I found myself going through a separation at that time.
Divorce?
I was married for 15 years, 3 gorgeous children. I'd been running my own business for 10 years, and I just started a new business.
And then you had to spend extended periods of time with your significant other where you had no escape. Right?
Up until that point, I knew exactly what my role was in life. Until I didn't.
And what was this pivot point?
The thing is that men now have standards which are really hard to balance. On one hand, we have to be these strong individuals, and on the other hand, we have to be really emotionally intelligent and match everything in the middle.
Men now?
But when everything was reset for me, like somebody had come and found that little switch on the back of my neck, or that weird SIM tool which you can never find for your phone, popped it in there, I reset back to basic masculine standards.
Basic masculine standards? Oh, okay. Okay. Yes, I've had several people in the chat saying that's a list. Yes, he did make a list of different things that happen and different things that he has gone through. So circling a list. Okay. Basic masculine standards. What constitutes a basic masculine standard, I wonder? Childhood or family anecdote. Yeah, he talked about his separation and everything. So there you go. Got that one. Anything else? Well, self-vilification or wretchedness is implied. I want to wait and see if he gives us a more concrete example. But... all right, so far, again, on the board, guys, bingo card C, we have a list: patriarchy, free space, childhood or family anecdote, privilege, and collectivize his own demographic. Plays victim and self-vilification are both on the table. Let's see.
Don't ask for help, always be strong, be individual.
Oh, is that the masculine standard? Don't ask for help, always be strong, always be an individual. Don't ask for help. You know, I really feel like that don't ask for help thing was perpetuated by the marketeers over on Madison Avenue in order to, sort of create the idea that the man is going forward, but the woman has the answer kind of thing in a lot of deals. Always the man's not willing to ask for directions kind of deal. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
And that would have been really useful 50 years ago.
Let's say I take your point. Let's say that the male default is don't ask questions, always be strong, always be an individual. Tell me about the overall progress of Western civilization over the last, 200,000 years. Or 100,000. I'll take half, 100,000 years. I mean, I feel like in general terms, it's gotten us fairly far.
And I remember my mom and dad talking about this. They used to share about how back in their days, life was so much better. Everyone was friendlier. We had communities. People didn't just think about themselves. And you could leave your front door open because no one was going to steal your 55-inch telly.
And so the rise in crime is entirely a male doing?
But now it is totally different. And we know men and women seek out help in different ways. Men, they look for very practical ways. Women tend to deal more with emotional stuff.
Okay. I'll take your generalizations. Yes. Okay.
If you want to have a conversation about the different engines in the 2000-era Honda Civic, come on, let's do it.
I couldn't do anything for that, so I'm going to circle mind reading assumes motives. Yeah, I couldn't tell you, left, right from center on an engine. Maybe that's just me. It probably is. Obviously, every man knows about car engines, and specifically Honda Civics, I guess. And no woman could possibly know anything about engines, obviously.
You want to talk about emotions?
Sure.
Not a chance.
I'm happy to talk about emotions. Are you talking about yourself?
I know what it's like to be me, and for all of you, that's all we ever truly, really know is what our experience is.
That's true. I'm glad you've acknowledged that.
But I know when I start to talk about the struggles which I have, of feeling lost, of feeling disconnected, and then I widen my gaze more to the men around me in my community.
How many gays do you widen on a regular basis?
I hear the same things.
Oh.
I hear those shared messages.
Yeah.
I hear them talking about the same subjects.
Such as?
And when we widen it even further,
You're not going to tell us, huh?
we start to get to the statistics.
Oh boy, statistics. Tell me some statistics. It's going to be, for the sake of YouTube, because YouTube hates certain words being spoken out loud, I'm going to guess that within the next section here, granted that he actually gives us any, he is going to mention statistics regarding men subtracting themselves from the equation of life. That's my guess.
And probably the most shocking for me is that 3/4 of completed suicides are male.
Oh, can we say psychic moment? Now, I want to preface this by saying, when I say I love it when people bring this up in this context, that's not me celebrating the fact. What I mean when I say I love it when people bring it up in this context is my question, or my rejoinder always is, okay, is that happening because they are men? Or, and just bear with me a moment, could that be happening because men have been told that they are inherently broken? That men and boys for the last 10, 15, 20 years or so have been just constantly barraged with messaging that masculinity is toxic, that men are just rapists in waiting, that boys are simply malfunctioning girls, and on and on and on, that you are stamped from the beginning as being a flawed and pitiable creature. And the only way that you can have any possibility of advantage in life is to consistently apologize for being what you are and for the potential of what you could do if you were the worst version of a human being. I mean, that's what I would like to know. But oftentimes, I am told that no. They're doing this because men just simply can't keep up with the standards expected of them. Or that there's something inherent to being a man that makes them self-destructive. I don't know. Is it the one? Is it the other? Which theory is he going to put forward, do you think?
If we're looking for equity and equality, I don't think we're looking for anything in that statistic to change that.
What? Wait a second. Okay, maybe I was too caught up in my own thoughts there for a second. Let me back up a little bit. Let's listen to that again, and then I want someone in the chat. If I'm still not quite sure what that was supposed to mean, I want somebody in the chat to explain it to me. Okay, I'm needing some help here.
To get to the statistics, and probably the most shocking for me is that 3/4 of completed suicides are male. If we're looking for equity and equality, I don't think we're looking for anything in that statistic to change that.
What? Okay, what does that mean? What? Yeah, no, my powers of cognition are failing me on that one, guys. If we're looking for equity and equality, we're not going to find it in the... What? Okay. Over in the chat. Advocatus. He means we don't want more women to kill themselves to make it equitable. Oh, okay. Well, duh? Okay. I was overthinking it. But what is that supposed... What? Is that a point? Also, Roan Harushan is here. Hello, Roan Harushan. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a quiet one, just because I've been overthinking it, but...
What? What is that? What the fuck is that?
Yeah, no, he's right. I don't want there to be an equal number of percentages of people subtracting themselves from the equation of life on the opposite gender. What?
But we know that things aren't going to change until we do something about it.
Okay, well, you've taken on a big burden then, so you've just set yourself up with presumably offering a solution to that problem. Here we go, guys. Our speaker, at least implicitly, has an answer to the statistic. Proceed.
The clues often start in the language that men use.
Oh, okay.
The words which they come out with.
Ooh. Like, what words do I come out with? Elsewise instead of otherwise. I use that. It's a bit archaic, a bit weird. But I use that. Not many people use that. I like to think of myself as fancy. Oh, and also, what's another word that I use quite? Oh, yeah, substantive. I feel like I have to do that at least once an episode now. Just in sort of in spirit of annoying Alex wherever he is. Yeah.
And what's really interesting is there was a piece of research in Australia by Professor Fiona Shand who interviewed men who had attempted but thankfully hadn't completed suicide.
Yeah, just keep demonetizing the stream, dude. I mean, I haven't monetized it yet. I will attempt so after the stream's completed, but yeah, just keep knocking it down for me, thanks.
And she asked them to use words to describe their experience.
Use words to describe the experience of attempted self-deletion. Golly, you know, I might not be able to predict the exact vocabulary, but I bet they're not positive words.
They had words like hope.
Like, what? Sorry. I I actually paused when I didn't mean to pause. Let's try that again.
Experience.
Yeah.
They had words like hopeless.
Really? Hopeless in the conducting of ending one's own existence.
Useless.
Yeah.
Worthless.
A lot of less there, isn't there?
I know those are all words which I've used to describe me and my place. I know that those are words which the men around me have used.
Okay.
But then she went to ask them another question afterwards, and she said, what was it which stopped you from completing that suicide?
Hope? Or fear? Or shame?
And pretty much all of them came back and said the same thing.
Pretty much all of them? Oh, okay, that's very, very accurate.
I do not want to be a burden on the people I leave behind.
I do not want to be a burden on the people I leave behind. Okay.
The communities which we have should be able to help men to be seen, heard, and validated. In fact, that's what we all want.
No, it's not. No. Men are not meant to be seen, heard, and validated. You just spent the introduction of your own presentation downplaying your very worth on the reverse, that the elements that make up what you are things that you should be ashamed of, or that society should be ashamed of. All right, contradicts own point or fails to make argument, circling that one. You're perpetuating the very thing. You implied at the start of this that simply being what you are is an unearned privilege, and you should be taken less seriously as a result. That society should not elevate you specifically in any way, shape, or form, validate you in any way, shape, or form, listen to you in any way, shape, or form, because you are a white male, also able-bodied, etc. So you're already denigrating an entire swath of the Earth's population, and now you're saying, oh, no, we have to, society should not be invalidated. Okay.
But at the moment, we're not able to do that.
We're not. You can do that right now. You can do that right now. You can do that right now by not playing with your pity party. And also not projecting your insecurities onto all men and assuming to know how men operate simply because you're having problems. I'm still waiting to hear what this pivot point was during the course of the lockdown with his own relationship that caused him to have this grand revelation.
And so men go out and seek communities which will do that for them. Often they're online. Often they're full of toxic masculinity and misogyny.
Often. How often is often? Boy, oh boy. Thank you, Faustonia, for the kabuki dancing dogcat fox. Oh, dogcat fox.
Wow, wow.
Ooh, there's a froggy dogcat fox. Thank you so much, Faustonia. Appreciate it. Oh boy, toxic masculinity, guys. Misogyny, guys. Uh-huh.
But while they say the things that men want to hear to help them feel seen, heard, and validated, they're always going to persist. We need to change that story.
Okay. How?
Men often open up only when the fear of being vulnerable is much lower than the thing they've experienced.
Men only open up when the fear of being vulnerable is lower than the thing they experienced. Okay. Can you give me an example?
Now, you might be thinking, well, Dave, why are you talking about this stuff?
Because you're a self-hating individual who's looking for validation from women that you're not going to get otherwise? I don't know. I mean, I'm just guessing, but you asked the question.
Well, I'm one of those people who's had some experiences which are much bigger than my fear of being vulnerable.
They're bigger than your fear of being like what?
And I want to share that story with you today.
I'm all for it. You've got 12 more minutes.
I want to take you back to 1988.
1988? Jesus. All right. 1.21 gigawatts, 88 miles per hour.
I want to take you back to 1988. Looking around the audience, some of you were definitely there. And I'm in my mom's kitchen. My mom's kitchen is exactly what you would expect in a 1980s kitchen.
Yellow linoleum and a big steel refrigerator?
It's beige, it's boring, but she creates the most beautiful Sunday roasts.
Okay. Maybe it's a British thing.
And after me and my dad have had this big feed of that, we argue over who's going to do the washing up.
Okay.
Because we all know what it's like to not have a dishwasher. And we all know that the washing up is a much better place to be than the drying up because you end up with a really wet tea towel.
If you say so.
On that morning in 1988, I'm sat in my mum's kitchen.
Your mom's kitchen? Isn't it your kitchen at that point? Or does she own her own house?
I'm having a haircut.
Cue hair joke.
Which for some of you might be hard to imagine.
Yeah.
And Jennifer, our hairdresser, and I call her Jennifer because that's her name, she's trying to get this mop of hair to stand up straight and spike, like all of us wanted back in the 1980s.
I was never a spiky-haired kid. Maybe it's from the era my parents came from, but I was always very sort of business cut for the most part. Well, no, I take it back. There was a time where I got buzz cuts. Yeah, I remember that. That was early on, though. 88. I would have been 8 years old. Somewhere in there.
After 5 minutes, she gives up and just stops.
9 years old.
And then as she finishes, she does that thing which I remember across tens of years.
Tens of years,
She leans forward and she blows on my neck.
Oh, dear Lord. Do not simulate an orgasm for me on TEDx, please. I've already seen a couple of talks like that. Oh, too late.
Why don't hairdressers do that anymore?
Is that toxic masculinity?
She then brushes me off, takes the shawl off me, and I stand up. And I walk out into the garden, and I hear a noise.
It was a rabbit.
And then I notice a helicopter going round and round over our small village.
Okay.
I grew up in a very nice village in North Worcestershire called Hagley. Population then of 7,500. That helicopter was out looking for someone.
Was it Jennifer?
Stuart Goff, a schoolboy in the same year as me at school, and a paper boy at the same newsagents as me, had gone out that morning to do his paper round, as he did every morning.
And something terrible either happened to this kid or this kid did something terrible?
But he hadn't returned home. The helicopter was out searching for him. And it was 2 weeks before we found out what had happened. Stuart had sadly been abducted that morning, and then in those 2 weeks he'd been murdered.
Okay. All right. You're putting this on the proverbial table. What does an abduction murder have to do with your talk, then? Moment of silence. That's a terrible thing, and I'm not being insincere when I say that. I'm just really hoping this is not going to be used in some kind of cynical way to leverage your point in a ridiculous fashion.
How do you process something like that?
I couldn't even imagine.
In our village, parents knew parents, children knew children, everyone knew the local policeman. It was a very tight-knit community where one thing changed everything. In that moment, it took all of the children in our year at school from being children to adults in one hit. And the universe didn't even say sorry.
Okay. I stipulate. Where is this going in relation to how you started this talk?
Back then, we didn't know about PTSD. We didn't know about trauma. It was almost as if it hadn't been invented yet.
Trauma hadn't been invented yet. Grief, shock, despair, these things were unknown, absent the label of PTSD. Okay. Tyrannus, scribe, did you circle family or childhood? Yes, here's just a reminder of what's been circled on the card so far. Remember, this is Bingo Card C, everybody. What has been circled? Mind reading assumes motives. A list. Patriarchy. Contradicts own point or fails to make argument. Free space. Childhood or family anecdote. Privilege. And collectivizes own demographic. There may be others that kind of fit, but we'll wait and see. And also, this card has been circled for a WTF moment. So that's what we have so far. Also, Susannu Ala-Richard. Hello, you're saying this gave you PTSD? Well, no, he didn't even understand what it was at the time. Yeah, and Accident Seller. He means it was new to him. Well, he referred to the populace at large. He said we, the people, didn't know what these things were. And I'm like, well, maybe not the term PTSD, but trauma? I think people have at least a concept of trauma, just as a factor of being alive, but whatever.
Then we didn't know about PTSD. We didn't know about trauma. It was almost as if it hadn't been invented yet. So we all found our own ways of dealing with it.
As most people do. You know, even today with the, let's see, better well-known terms like trauma and PTSD, people still find their own ways to deal with things. I don't know if you're aware.
I picked anger.
Uh-oh.
A nice, easy emotion to access, and that became the emotion which I took all the way through my adult life.
So wait a second. A boy that you knew back in 1988 is kidnapped and murdered. Your reaction is anger, and you carried this anger throughout your entire adult life. Your entire adult life has been spent dealing with the death of this boy. Okay, now maybe there'll be more here. Or maybe he'll even address this. That is trying to play off your responsibility for your own emotions on something else. So,
like a beautiful jacket just out of reach. If you could just lean over and just grab it and put it on. Totally unfashionable, but it fitted perfectly.
It sounds like you're making excuses. I really hope you address that.
And that was the emotion which I interacted with everything throughout those years.
From 1988 through your adult years. Okay.
Every trip to the university and college, most of them failed, I'll hasten to add.
Okay.
Every job, every relationship, into my marriage and the birth of my 3 gorgeous children. It was always there in the background.
Because of some kid being killed in your neighborhood, your village, in 1988.
On the surface, you get this very happy, jovial person. Underneath, a total mess, anxious, all the time.
Because of something that happened in your village in 1988. I don't mean to keep hitting home on it, but this is his story. Something terrible happened to someone else's family in 1988. And he attributes it as the source, the starting point for all of his emotional problems up to and through his marriage and becoming a father.
The pattern was really simple. I would lose my temper over the silliest things. I'd rage, I'd break things, I'd shout. And then I'd withdraw. So scared of it happening again, disassociating from my emotions, scared that I was going to shout at someone else.
Okay, you had an anger problem. You know, and I hate to tell you this. Anger and anger management issues is a human problem. It is not exclusively a male problem. So, I know, crazy idea. Secondly, I'm still stuck on this idea that you attribute all of this, you blame all of this on an event that happened back in 1988 to a different kid, to a different family. I know, I get stuck on these details. When someone tries to justify or set a foundation for their argument or their presentation on something significant, I take them at their word. So are we going to address why you brought up that kid's death in some other way? Are we? I can only hope that eventually he gets around to saying, it wasn't that thing that did it. I kept blaming that thing, and I realized, no, this is my fault. I hope he takes some personal responsibility here. Because so far it sounds like he's distancing himself from his own actions, or trying to find a scapegoat. But
then I would emerge, days, maybe even weeks later, like this happy butterfly, and everything would be okay.
Well, except for the people around you, of course, that have to deal with you.
I have an amazing family. I have fantastic friends. And they gave me this space to experience all of that.
Experience what? You were effectively tormenting them when they didn't do anything wrong. They gave you space to experience it. They were avoiding you like the plague. I mean, you might see it as kindness, and maybe after a fashion it was, but it was probably also a survival instinct.
Which is both a blessing and a curse.
Uh-huh.
Because while they give you the space to experience it, no one ever calls you out on it.
Nobody ever called you out on it. Nobody ever reacted to your irrational anger with bewilderment or confusion or opposing arguments? Really?
And so you believe that that behavior is absolutely okay.
Wait, you just... Sorry. Okay, where are we at? 9:53. Let's back up all of like a minute or so.
On the surface, you get this very happy, jovial person. Underneath, a total mess, anxious all the time. The pattern was really simple.
Yeah, tell us about that pattern again.
I would lose my temper over the silliest things. I'd rage, I'd break things, I'd shout.
Yeah, you'd become a violent monster. Uh-huh.
And then I'd withdraw.
Uh-huh, and then?
So scared of it happening again.
So scared of it happening again.
Disassociating from my emotions.
Sorry, let me back up a little bit.
Again, disassociating from my emotions. Scared that I was going to shout at someone else.
Why were you scared? If this behavior is normal, why were you scared? Right?
Which is both a blessing and a curse. Because while they give you the space to experience it, no one ever calls you out on it. And so you believe that that behavior is absolutely okay.
Then, okay, I'm going to circle Contradict's Own Point again, just because it's my show and I can do that. In such a unique and blatant way as compared to the first time. You just...
And that carried on until 2015.
2015? I thought it was the lockdown that caused you to have some kind of or is this something different?
In 2015, everything changed.
Donald Trump ran for president?
My ex-wife decided she'd had enough. She'd had enough of me breaking things. She'd had enough of me scaring the kids. She'd had enough of trying to tell the kids that, yeah, Daddy's just going through something. It's okay.
Well, good for Mom. It's amazing she put up with it for as long as she did. Sorry, and what is the who or what is at fault for your emotional outbursts again? A kid that was murdered back in 1988, right?
And she told me to get out of the house.
Wow. No, well, I mean, she was just giving you space to, have that experience.
As you can imagine,
yeah,
I didn't.
I mean, I can imagine quite a bit, so... Okay, the way he said that is so freaking sinister. Let's try that again, shall we? Just to make sure I didn't miss something here.
Of trying to tell the kids that, yeah, Daddy's just going through something, it's okay. And she told me to get out of the house. as you can imagine, I didn't.
Good God. Is this the preamble to... And then I went to prison for 25 years for manslaughter? So what is going on?
Because everything had been okay before, so why wasn't it going to be okay in the future? We dealt with this. Everything was going to be all right.
Well, except for all that fear you had and it happening again because you knew it was the wrong thing to do. So she tells you to get out of the house. She is tired of you being destructively violent to both hearth and home and to the mood, emotions, and sense of security of your own family. And you did not do so. So what did you do?
And then she did the bravest thing I think I've seen anyone ever do.
She defended herself with an implement. I don't want to tempt fate with YouTube here, but I can say I can imagine quite a bit. What did she do?
She gathered up the kids under one arm, she gathered up the dog, and she walked out the door.
Okay. Kudos to her. She said, get out. You said, nah, brah. And she's like, all right. Okay. I was actually thinking about this before the show tonight. Sometimes I have odd thoughts. And for some reason, the fact that I constantly... you'll hear me do this very often on these shows when I refer to the person on the stage as our speaker or the speaker. That's not by accident. I do that as sort of a mental device, and I have for years now, to try to focus on the fact that we're critiquing the point and not the person, right? Because oftentimes an argument, a presentation, whatever, can be issued forth from any particular throat. It doesn't really matter, because we're here to talk about the subject matter. The only exception is when the speaker makes themselves a part of their own argument. That's usually, unless there's some other weird circumstance, that's usually the only time I'll ever address the speaker specifically in some kind of direct way when talking about a critique or anything else, because otherwise it's, it's not applicable. But in this case, you are a jerk. This isn't about being a man. This isn't about masculinity. This is about you individually. You, the person, not you, the gender, not you, the skin color, not you, the able-bodied, you, the individual. You are a jerk. You are an angry, violent asshole to your family. It has nothing to do with some kid that got killed in 1988. It has nothing to do with your genetics. It has everything to do with you. You are making choices. You consistently made choices. Part of you knew you were doing wrong and knew you had a problem because you acknowledged the fear of it happening again, because you knew and were ashamed after the fact of the way that you reacted to things. And you chose not to change until after it was already too late. You did. By your own tail is your argument destroyed. And we still have 7 minutes left in this thing. Take a breather here for a second. Advocatus, yeah, when does the meditation even come in? Well, here's the thing, and this is what we always have to remember. The titles that are placed on the YouTube videos, on the TEDx channels, and even the TED Talk channels, they aren't necessarily the titles that go along with the actual presentation. That may just be something that TEDx added. We have encountered this many, many times in the past, where we've seen titles be changed on TEDx sites, or the title is just sort of like a quasi-abstract of what the talk is about in a way. So unless it's on the actual title card, I don't necessarily associate the title that the video gave me with the title of the presentation. So far on the title card, or his little display behind him up here, I say Dave James Sitting with the Boys. That should probably be the title of the presentation. So yeah, if he never mentions mindfulness or meditation, I'll be disappointed because I was expecting something like that, but I won't be surprised necessarily. That's the problem. Ron Harushan sounds like he's trying to blame his gender for his anger issues. Well, both his gender and this event that happened in his childhood, like he brings that up. And I'm getting ready to circle, not an anecdote that probably never happened, but a non sequitur, because that had, unless he's got some other revelation for us, so far that has had absolutely nothing to do with anything. JPS, did he say he chose anger? Yeah, that shows some agency, doesn't it? Crowbar the Skull. Anger is the opposite of masculinity. In fact, all emotions are. Yeah, stoicism, control of one's emotions is classically masculine, which is misinterpreted by weenies and activist feminists as an absence of emotion. Just because men classically are not as quick to emotion as women, or as less than masculine men, it is interpreted as an absence of emotion. Like we're automatons or something. That's the difference. Very good observation. Tony Giff, it's natural when we understand the other gender is smaller and softer and sweeter. Yeah. When I was a very young child and I had a little baby sister, I was told that I had to take care of her, that I was bigger than her and I was stronger than her and I could easily hurt her. And I only really learned this after I got too rough with my little sister when she was very, very small. I think I was 3 and she was 2. I might be slightly off on that by a year. But I was horsing around with my sister and I dislocated her arm. Yeah, I know. I was a little kid. I didn't know any better. And boy, oh boy, I tell you what. If ever you needed a shock to the system as a small child and a couple of good whacks to the bottom, accidentally injuring your baby sister and then the guilt and the shame and hearing her crying as a result of your actions. I wasn't looking to hurt her, but I did, because I didn't realize my own strength as compared to her, and so on. So yeah, it's not a lesson I wish I'd learned in that way, but man, I never forgot it. And but she's fine. She ended up being fine. Babies are made of rubber. Found will find this out pretty soon. But yeah, you do not harm girls. You just don't. This is reflexive. It's not necessarily chivalry, but it's also a part of just being a protector and understanding that there is a differential. All right. Adabisi, Scribe turned his sister into a Lego piece. No, stop it. Stop it. I still feel bad about it. Just even mentioning it, I get all like, ugh. But anyway. So you were passing the buck on your own actions and behaviors and what now?
And as that door slammed shut, the house went silent.
Wow, and you're all alone with the consequences of your own actions, weren't you?
And I did the only thing that I could think to do.
You trashed the house. Or...
I climbed up the stairs.
Uh-huh.
I opened up the loft hatch.
Oh, please don't tell me that you tried to delete yourself.
I climbed into the loft.
Uh-huh.
And I started to sort out the recycling.
Wait. Is that a euphemism?
Don't ask me why the recycling's in the loft. I still don't understand that to this day.
Oh, that's not a euphemism. What? What the fuck? Wait. You put... You put the recycling in the attic?
What the fuck are you talking about?
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Right?
I mean, what? Why? Just... Okay, sure.
But for the next hour, I sorted out glass and plastic, cards and paper into boxes until there was a knock at the door. And when I came back down from the loft and down the stairs, there was my dad.
Your dad. Okay. Okay, what did Dad do?
Dad's like a knight in shining armor. He's always been there for me. And he said some very simple words. He said,
Yes.
Your family are safe, but you need to leave.
As you should have in the first place.
So, of course, I packed the car up with a few things and drove off angrily.
So when your wife tells you to get out, when she says she's scared of you, etc., that's not enough. But your dad shows up, then you listen. I'm seeing a pattern here.
I was out the house for 2 weeks.
2 weeks? Total recall.
And in those 2 weeks, I decided I was going to change my relationship with anger. I was going to find ways to not let that anger rule me.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Trying to be diplomatic here. All right. Let's say that, similar to an alcoholic, this was his rock bottom. Okay. All right. So I'll put on my humanitarian hat for a few minutes here. All right. So after all this stuff and all the passing of the buck and trying to tell us that it was somebody else's fault back in 1988 for being a kidnapping, murdering monster, which you never tied up that story, and if they ever caught the guy, now you've hit rock bottom, and this is where you turn things around. Okay.
And I would love to tell you in the time we have left.
You've taken up more time than most TEDx's.
All the things which I did.
You could give us the highlights.
But I'm going to focus on a very simple practice, and that is mindfulness and meditation.
Oh, there we go! Mindfulness and meditation. You know, I wonder. You know, that might be a good square to consider as an alternative later. Does the title of the video, is it ever actually said, or at least within, reasonable volume, let's say, or reasonable amount in the actual presentation? Like, he said the thing, but okay.
Mindfulness and meditation gave me this ability to see the gap between the stimulus and the response.
No, it didn't. Your fear did before. You already told us that you had a fear response of behaving that way again in the future. You already knew there was something wrong. You already knew that the stimulus versus the response was out of whack. You already had that information while you were doing it. Thank you, C. Thomas. Peasant. What a wild turn. I didn't know schizophrenia could have a touch of tism added on as a secondary modifier. Well, there's a whole bunch of psychological alchemy that takes place when you're trying to rationalize away your own responsibility for your actions. People come up with some very, very creative ways to rationalize their own culpability in the situations they find themselves in. I mean, we've all been there, haven't we? Maybe not like this guy, but Datura Jones. Salami. What a goose I am. That's my favorite chant. Oh, what a goose I am? Yeah.
And to be able to climb into this gap and just widen it open, even for a big bloke like me.
Boy, you like widening gaps quite a bit.
It changed absolutely everything.
Really? How? What did you do, and how did it change anything?
It changed the course of my relationships. It changed the course of my career.
How?
And in 2022,
7 years later. Because all this went down in 2015. This is when your wife kicked you out of the house. 7 years later, okay?
decided I was going to study it a little bit more.
So 7 years after the big event, you decided you were going to study mindfulness and meditation more. After it changed your relationships and after it changed your career. Okay.
So I did a postgraduate certificate in mindfulness studies.
Mindfulness studies. Okay. Apologies to anybody in the audience or in the future audience that has gone through some sort of graduate program for mindfulness studies. Unfortunately, when I hear something like that, it sounds like magical crystals and hippie stuff. Now, maybe he'll convince me otherwise. But, if he said he went through like, a master's in psychology or something. And I understand that psychology is a soft science. That depending on who's teaching it and how it's applied, it can also be a lot of mumbo jumbo. But okay, sell me on the idea of a mindfulness doctorate or whatever.
Which is not anything that I would expect a bloke from Birmingham to ever say.
Uh-huh.
And it was during that time.
Okay, you haven't even told us how your life changed or exactly how it changed the way that you behaved with other people. And now you're not even going to tell us, like, what you learned from it? Okay.
That I had two very cool people close to me ask me a nice question.
Okay.
So Gary and Sarah Jones run a yoga studio in Bromsgrove in North Worcestershire.
Worcestershire. Hello, Governor. I'm from Worcestershire.
And they approached me and asked if I would come and run a men's meditation session.
Okay.
As you can imagine, if you go to a yoga studio, there's a very particular gender which goes there, mostly female.
Yes. Because I tell you what, if you're the one guy there, they all know what you're there for. Don't we, fellas? Yeah. But
I noticed that men were struggling, and Gary had talked very openly about his mental health struggles, which helped a lot of people around him. Mm-hmm. And when they asked me, I said yes.
Right. So the guy who was so angry and so violent that his wife had to kick him out of the house, which he didn't do until his dad told him to get out of the house, which he then did, and then spent the next 7 years doing something, and now he's going to... Okay, all right. Here's the problem, and with the limited time that you have left in your talk, you need to have described how you changed. I know it sounds very simple, but it's a very important piece of your own story. You have to compare and contrast your behavior from before your explorations of mindfulness and meditation and how you behave afterwards. What did you do differently? What lessons did you learn about your previous behavior, and then take those lessons and become a different person as a result? You have to tell us this. If you do not tell us these things in some meaningful way in the next 4 minutes, I'm circling leaves out vital context. I know you don't want that to happen. I know you don't want me to have to pull that lever, but I will. I promise you I will. Walter Tomaszewski, thank you so much. I didn't have beard stubble before this guy started. He has taken the scenic route around to a potential point, hasn't he? So let's hope, fingers crossed, knock Formica.
Because if I'd have said no, this would be a very short talk.
Well, it is already not a short talk. You could have stopped right here and it still would not have been a short talk.
And so on International Men's Day of 2022, I sat in a room with 14 other men.
2022. Were you all wearing masks? What happened to the lock? When did the lockdown end in Britain?
We sat with the boys.
Sat with the boys. The boys. Oi, this is diabolical. Thank you, Ron Harushan. Day 145. The speaker has still yet to tell us the point. Yes. Yes. Like Jane Goodall sitting in the jungle observing the gorillas.
And I ran our first meditation session.
Why?
And yes, I wish I had the trademark to that name, but they still do.
They, them, giant ants.
That session, I was nervous. I was worried they were going to see me as an imposter. I was worried they were going to go, "You've only got a postgraduate certificate, mate."
Well, you are an imposter. You're a straight, white, male, able-bodied standing on a stage. You shouldn't be there in the first place. You're the last person to be talking about hardship, given that the world has been shaped simply to service people like you. Oh, wait, that was way at the beginning of your talk. That's irrelevant now. Right, okay.
What do you know? I was worried they were going to see through the fact that, for me, mindfulness and meditation had been a very good research subject of one.
You still haven't told us how you changed.
I know the research is there. I know what works for me.
Uh-huh. Would you like to share with us what works for you?
I didn't know whether it could help other people.
Are you now going to describe what it is that you passed on?
And in that first session, we sat there. I told them a few Buddhist stories. I talked about my journey. We shared some practices, and then we meditated together.
Sat there and said nothing. I know it must be a really, really difficult thing to lead people through.
The ripple effects from sitting on that mat and as it moved out into the world around are immense.
I think you just described farting.
Of course, we always ask them how they came to spend time with us.
My girlfriend made me.
And as you can imagine, about 99% of them say, "My wife booked it for me." But regardless of how they got there, it's such an honor to be in that space with them.
Wait a second. They submitted to the whims and requests of their female significant other. How damaged are these men?
They call me the big guy at the front.
I will have to take your word for it.
And being able to sit with the boys is just one of the most wonderful things.
The boys.
Almost 2.5 years later, we're still doing this monthly.
Oh, so how long until it's that time of the month again?
And what I'd love to tell you that it's something which is tens of thousands of people are doing.
Well, if that was the case, you'd be running a cult.
It's not. At the moment, it's a small group of men who are getting together and changing their experience.
How? Good gravy. I have sat here waiting to hear, what is your method? What is your philosophy? What is your process? Do you have a catchy little phrase or anagram for it or something? Something. What do you do? How did you change? What was behavior before this process and what is behavior now? What did you do? How does it work?
We know the bamboo grows very quickly, but we also know it has a period where it has to be looked after beforehand.
The bamboo?
We always ask the men what it is they get from being with us.
The lack of nagging from my wife, I'm guessing.
And they talk about a safe space.
Well, if safe space is there, can Snowflake be far behind?
Talk about being able to open up about what's important to them in a non-judgmental way.
Okay.
We had one guy who was telling us about the dreams he was having around his PTSD and how after a year of meditation, they settled to the point where he could really get on with life.
Wunderbar.
And then we've got Dave, whose golf handicap improved by 4 shots, which for the golfers in the room, I'm told, is a good thing.
Wait, you don't know how golf works? Wait a second. You said you're a man, right? Car engines, tractor pulls, boxing, MMA. You don't know how golf works? What kind of man are you?
But when we asked them to widen it a little bit more,
You're really into widening things. Just spread that. Oh yeah, get wider and spread it open.
and look at how the relationships were with the people around them, they talked about being able to communicate better.
No, communicating better? Okay, well, maybe you should take allocution lessons or something.
They talked about being able to read the words between the words.
Read the words between the words. Does Lion-O show up? Sight, beyond sight. What does that mean? For crying out loud, man. What are you talking about? Good God.
And getting curious about what was going on for other people. Not accepting that first answer of how you're doing, but asking it again. And they were starting to...
What? Not accepting that first answer of how you're doing. It's like, how you doing? I'm okay. No, really. How are you doing? I'm okay. No, I don't accept it. That's too cursory. That's too surface level. I want to get to the words between the words. What do you mean? I need to know the deepest, darkest secrets of your psyche. Reveal them to me now as I widen my stance. I don't know what that was. That was like radio show time or something. I think TEDx has driven me a little crazy.
And they were starting to empower people in their workplaces to go and do things like mental health first aid and get really close to their own mental health.
Mental health first aid? What? Is that like psychic surgery?
One bloke in front of 14 others sat on some mats in a yoga studio with a ripple effect which goes out and out and out.
I'm sorry. The ripple effect sitting on a mat with a bunch of guys. I just think of a big fart. Okay, going to the card real quick. We only got a minute left in this nonsense. Yes, Kiever Dam is right. Word salad. Whatever the heck is going on. He's leaving out vital context. Left, right, and center. Good gravy. Self-vilification or wretchedness, certainly that happened. But also, at the same time, plays victim, because unless he's got some 11th hour save on this, him bringing up that kid dying has absolutely nothing to do with nothing. And he took that on as though that explains something. And by extension of that, also, weightless example or non sequitur. Because that story had absolutely nothing to do with anything that he talked about. Absolutely nothing. And he hasn't brought it back, hasn't mentioned it again, just used it as some kind of crutch excuse for his own choices.
We know that we need to do something with our communities. We know that we need to help men. We know that we need to stop them moving into places which are not good for them.
And wouldn't it have been nice, I'll go all Beach Boys on this since you like sitting with the boys so much, wouldn't it have been nice if you had told us how we should go about that?
And over the last 15 minutes or so, I have spoken to you about community from 3 different places.
You have? You're going to have to review.
I've talked to you about how men are seeking out communities which are not helpful for them and how we've moved more towards individualism.
Moved more towards... I'm seeking out a community, but I'm moving more towards individualism. Okay, And obviously, whatever community I seek out is not helpful because I'm a man and I can't discern between a helpful community, a healthy community, and an unhelpful community because I'm a man, obviously. My individualism blinds me from seeing a community that I seek out as being either helpful or a hindrance. Okay.
I've told you a story about a community where one incident changed everything forever.
Only because you decided to say that that's what happened to you. I do not buy that incident in 1988 is the source and an excuse for your behavior from then on. No.
And I've talked about a small community of men sitting on mats in a yoga studio and how it's positively changing them.
No, you haven't told us how it's positively changed. No. Well, I mean, you've given us some results, I guess, but you haven't described in any way, shape, or form the mechanisms that led to those things. So no, you haven't told us anything about the how.
Our communities change us.
They can.
But we can change our communities as well.
Oh my God. Do you mean to tell me that it is a symbiotic relationship? Holy cow. Guys, did you know that the communities in which we reside can have an effect on us and we can have an effect on them? Oh my gosh. And also, tautology is tautology.
One of my mindfulness teachers, Choden.
Choden? Is that a verb? Oh, please tell me that that's a verb. Hey, scribe, what'd you do over the weekend? I was just choding. God damn it.
He has a great phrase.
I think his name is a great phrase.
When he talks about the fact that there's so many things in life which happen to us which aren't our fault.
Uh-huh.
And he says that it's not our fault that the lightning struck the roof of our house, but it is our responsibility to fix it.
You are responsible for your own actions. An outside force did not make you behave the way that you did. Every single day you chose to behave that way. It was not outside of your control. You've just told us that it was completely within your control. You just consistently chose to do nothing until you hit rock bottom. But you already knew you were doing wrong. You told us about the fear of it happening again. But you just kept going. You made a choice every single time, a conscious choice. This was not something that was done to you. This is something you did to yourself. And if you're going to abrogate your responsibility, even now, even after all of your mindfulness and all of your meditation, you know what that tells me? It tells me you haven't learned squat.
And as I leave you today, I have a couple of invitations for you.
Oh boy, are they engraved?
The first one is, how can you help to fix the roof of our house?
How can I help to fix the roof of our house? I don't know. You haven't even told me how you have fixed anyone's proverbial roofs. You just said that you sit down and you ripple with the boys for a little while, and then someone's golf game improves. It might as well be magic crystals.
And how are you going to use community to help you and help the people around you?
I don't know. I suppose, if I have to try to find something out of that, I am encouraging both myself and my community to think critically about what's being said by people who would comport themselves to be experts in something or authority figures, and really, really examine what have they said, how have they said it, and does it make any sense? So maybe I'm promoting critical thinking skills. And if nothing else, that'll help me, that'll help somebody else, maybe.
Thank you.
Okay. No. Thank you. Thank you for surprising me. I had thought this would be a fairly tame sort of milquetoast kind of talk. No. This was straight up pure classic TEDx talk, pardon me. I keep getting worried that TEDx is just going to like eventually level out. I won't be surprised by anything anymore. You know, that I can pick a talk with a title that sounds completely innocuous and maybe even beneficial. No, you haven't let me down yet, TEDx. I mean, occasionally. But anyway, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, let us move on to the wonderful world of the bingo card. Let me make sure this is all squared up real quick. Okay. And this is the bingo card as I have it. It goes, unlike our speaker, I'm going to show you the before and the after of all of our efforts. Here's where we began, and this is where we are. Holy cow. I'm going to go over the card one more time by myself. If you have arguments for squares to be circled, hold on to them. I will get to you momentarily. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. No. And you may argue, oh, but Scribe, he had all these men in the thing and the. No, that's not quite. Not quite. Unless you've got an argument elsewise, the men's meditation, it's not DEI. It's not enough to cross that threshold, in my opinion. Marginalization. Not so's I'd notice. Somebody else can say otherwise. Feminism. Well, he brought up toxic masculinity. He brought up the need for men to change. He also brought up the self-deletion statistic that I often hear feminists bring up as proof of the inherent flaws in men and so on. So, as a result of that, if you can believe it.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Right?
Yeah!
So circling that one. Attempt to coin new buzz phrase. The only new thing I heard, he already gave credit to somebody else. Meditation. He said that was somebody else's idea and it's already copyrighted, so can't claim that one. Systemic or institutional? I mean, in a lot of these talks where they're speaking about, you know, what the expectations are of men in society and so on, I genuinely want to circle systemic or institutional sort of in the abstract. Do you think that counts here? I'll leave that to you. Anecdote that probably never happened. You know, every anecdote that he gave, whether it was about the kid in 1988 or his own family struggles, I didn't detect anything that felt self-congratulatory or like beyond the scope of reason. And most of the stories were either obviously completely tragic or entirely self-demeaning, regardless of how you decided to interpret them. So I didn't hear any anecdotes that felt too perfect or anything. I mean, you can give me an argument elsewise. White supremacy. He did bring up his race at the beginning. And he did mention like other races and other genders. So just by the barest of margins, he did bring up the concept. So I'll circle that one. Let's see. Moving on, making sure I didn't miss any bingos here. Sales pitch for product or service. Yes, because he did mention what he does and that it's his new, I mean, it sounds like a profession-ish. So, yeah, I'm circling that one. He didn't mention a book specifically, but he did bring this up, and it feels like it's something he's pushing. Anyway.
Bingo.
What?
Of course!
Our second bingo. Moving on. Economic disparity. Not in any meaningful way to the presentation. I mean, I think he talked about how his village he grew up in was small and they didn't have a dishwasher and kind of thing, but that really wasn't a featured element or anything that he dwelled on in the course of his presentation. So, benevolent condescension. Yeah, at the end there. with his 2 questions. How are you going to do this, or how are you going to do that? Especially after he didn't give us any information in any meaningful way about how he did any of what he was grousing about. So, yeah, that's what I have to say to that.
Bingo.
What? Bingo! Yeah!
Of course! Of course!
Deceptive statistics. Okay, here's the thing. He did bring up statistics, especially in the self-deletion category, but he never gave any statistics. Right? So now the question is, well, he didn't actually say any numbers. He didn't give us any percentiles. But was he deceptive about his statistics? And this is me talking to myself as I'm trying to figure this out, because I can already hear like Advocatus or Tyrannus or someone in here jumping on me for this. It's like, yes, but he did use the well-known concept of the statistics over men's self-deletion in a way that was deceptive towards his point, potentially. I even think I pointed that out earlier. But did he go that far? I'm going to leave it to you guys. You tell me. And lastly, microaggressions or unconscious bias. Did he use those concepts in some way in his presentation? Excuse me. Yes, when it came to assessments or assumptions of how men behave. And not just by him obviously expressing them, but what he talked about when he was, referencing society and other people and so on. So, yes, and the standard male way of thinking about this, that, or the other, that kind of thing. So, yeah, all right. Okay, we got a pretty full card already. It's going to be an uphill battle to convince me on a lot of these because we have several bingo squares, and they better be good arguments if you want any more. We already got 3 bingos, right? 3 bingos is a pretty good haul. And of course, the point of the bingo card isn't necessarily to get as many bingos as possible. And if you are going to get a square off of me on this one, it better be good. I'm going to be holding the bar high on here. Out of BC, recycling in the attic sounds like an anecdote that probably never happened. Who in their right minds would do that? That's too much. Yeah, but here's the thing. It's so bizarre a thing to say that it actually lends credence to it because it doesn't help his argument in some way. It's not too perfect of an idea. It's so out there that I don't have any reason to think that he created it. Like, if he created it out of whole cloth, how does that advantage him in his story? I mean, I'll grant you that it's odd, but I need something else. Like why? It's so out there that it almost feels like it's too true not to be true. That was my thought. But if you got a counterpoint for me, by all means. Advocatus, that stat on suicides was deceptive. Women attempt suicide more than men, just succeed at a higher rate. Oh. Yeah. Scarlet, choding, new buzzword. No. That was the name of his teacher. Some guy with the last name of Choden. And I just took it. That was me. That wasn't him. Did he bring up the statistics on women though? This is the thing. We're stuck with what he actually presented in the presentation. And so he intimated that the statistics about men was a sign of men being inherently damaged in some way because of what they are, the stressors on them and everything. And then he talked about the aftermath with the psychologist who did the study. How did you feel when you were doing this and why did you stop? Was it deceptive? I know, I'm asking for a lot here, but we have very few squares left and I want to make sure I set the bar high enough. So, accident seller, what did the whole my mom blew on my net thing have to do with anything also? It wasn't his mom, it was the hairdresser named Jennifer that just happened to do house calls, I guess. And he has a blow on the back of my neck fetish. That's what he was telling us, I assume. Revenant word, anecdote that probably never happened. Some guy's golf game allegedly improved at his meetings. Yeah, it's a piece. Yeah. Okay. Well, we might have an argument over time. Like, okay. That does seem a little odd, doesn't it? Unless he was joking. I don't know. Let me think about that one for a second. Men are broken women, male feminists. Yeah, pretty much. Attribution. He made it seem like men attempted it more. At least it led me to believe that's what he meant. Okay. Okay, that it's a... okay. He did follow that up by saying if we want equality and equity, that's not... Okay, so he was implying that this was something that happened at a greater rate for men than women, implying that there's something wrong with... Okay. All right. Yeah, this is why I ask these things of you guys. I want to make sure. I don't want to just circle things necessarily just for the sake of circling them. I want to make sure that there's a reasoned argument behind it. So there we go. Deceptive statistics. Okay. All right. Now the more that we get, okay, we're getting into every square. Almost every square is a bingo square. So the arguments have got to be solid, guys. Have got to be solid. All right. I'm just telling you right now, my standards are pretty high. Accident seller. Long-term daily meditation has been scientifically proven to change the brain via brain scans, etc. Okay. So is that an argument against the golf game thing for anecdote that probably never happened? Mr. Trunk. The only equity we should be concerned with is home equity. There you go. Susanna Al Rashard. Technically speaking, women in the lit aren't making legit attempts. Women in the literature? Is that it? Oh, it's more performative, attention-seeking. Yeah, okay. Theater Winch Ginger. Meditate, get better at sports. Well, I mean, Accident Seller says that there might actually be something to that. So I don't know. Tyrannus. Can we add a caveat to deceptive statistics for vagueness or not giving numbers as well as misrepresenting numbers? Well, it does get a little fuzzy. I mean, he did bring up specifically the concept of statistics and then implied or outright basically said that men outweighed women in that regard. Yeah, we got to... Maybe we need a qualifier because of all the things that have become more contentious over time, it's the deceptive statistics thing. Because the deceptive part, obviously, is the part that is subjective. It can be, depending on how they're used. Statistics, does it have to be literal numbers, or can it be the implication of statistics, like in this case? Since we're still in sort of that gray area, I'll let what's already been circled. But that should be a discussion we have over on the Discord server. Abdicast Dilly, that is my point. By not bringing up the stats on women, he was only giving half the picture and thus deceiving. Okay, yeah, like I say, the square is circled. I'll give it to you. It's true. Do we need more clarification for that square in the future to defeat some of the gray areas? We'll Theater Wench, Long Island iced tea. Nah, you're missing a word there. They don't call it. Does anybody call it Long Island tea? I've always heard of Long Island iced tea. Okay. Advocatus. Anecdote that never happened. The haircut. That was just made up alibi for the kid. He obviously. Jeez. Ooh, you went dark. You know, I did have a TEDx talk that was all about true crime that I didn't do this week. It was I don't know what the lady's argument was, if she had an argument, but it was all about true crime. So, I do, but that's just me. Long Island tea? I've never heard of Long Island tea. I've heard of Long Island iced tea. But, okay, did I miss anybody's? I'll scroll up a little bit, but please just, if I missed your argument, please just repost it. If you say scroll up, I'm not going to do it again. I'm doing this once. Let's see. Okay, so I'm back to the golf game. Okay, so I've scrolled up. Do I have any other arguments for squares to be circled? Squares to be circled, guys. Anything that I missed? Systemic or institutional? I think there's probably an argument to be made for that one. Buzzword, buzz phrase, you can't do meditation. He already attributed that to somebody else. Marginalized marginalization, possibly. I don't know. Anybody else? Anybody else? Let's see. Oh, Keeverdam is advertising my Scribe store. Yes, I have merch, guys. You can get your own Pepperjack t-shirt or a Moonbase t-shirt. Crater Valley Outpost. Also have some good Scribe Light mugs and TEDXcellence mugs for coffee or cocoa. Old guy, you missed mine, but it's already argued and circled. Well, you can showcase it again. I'm fine. Tyrannus, I remember when I was young, caught a cold, and that is what started me to become a lich. Yeah, you see, guys, a terrible, terrible crime happened in 1988, and that's what led to my divorce. That is the story he allowed to run in this talk. Scrabble, he talked about equity in connection to the, yeah, like I say, it's true. Yeah, he was like saying we shouldn't want to hope for that in women's statistics or something. Mr. Gutron, dog, cat, fox, condoms, and edible underwear. Unless Teespring offers that as an option. By the way, I can't use any of the YouTube dog, cat, fox stuff on my merchandise. I don't have the right to use that stuff. I would need some independent artist to come up with something, because I can't do it, of like a dog, cat, fox logo or a dog, cat, fox representation. Or I'd have to commission it, I suppose. That is owned by moi before I can make any dog, cat, fox merchandise. So the super chats and all that stuff, and using the image in my thumbnails and things, but for actual like commerce, yeah, I can't really use that artwork. That's YouTube might have effectively made it fair use in their live streams and stuff by having it broadcast, but for like other things, I can't use it. And I've always wanted, and I'm just saying this for the sake of out in the ether. I've always wanted a sort of, epic romance-esque painting of Scribe Light standing, in profile, looking out into the distance, with his cane down on the ground and one foot up on a rock, and in front of him is a dog, cat, fox in sort of like a hunter pointer dog kind of position, or some kind of regal position, looking off as well into that same direction. And then behind us is some landscape of rolling hills, and maybe there's like a big oak tree just behind me that's sort of framing my position as I'm looking. Something like that. Something you'd see on a wall, like a big lengthwise kind of epic painting. Yeah. It's me and Dog, Cat, Fox. On the hunt. Kiro Soldier, I think you made one of Dog, Cat, Fox months ago. I haven't made. Well, I mean, when I say I put dog, cat, fox into Grok or something, and it comes out with some horrific like amalgamation, or it gives me three different things. It doesn't give me like when I say give me a combination dog, cat, fox, it just gives me a mess. It doesn't work like that. And anything you've seen on like dog, cat, fox, and friend, unfortunately, I just have to default to draw a Shiba Inu doing XYZ or whatever. That's not really dog, cat, fox. I mean, it is dog, cat, fox, but it's not like, it's got to look like a little bit of a combination of each, but more maybe fox than dog. Like a Shiba Inu. Anyway, I can't do it. I just can't do it. Any other arguments, guys? Advocatus, he did sort of marginalize when he went on about men wanting to be seen, heard, and validated. That is true. That is true. Like, men feel marginalized. They feel they can't be vulnerable. They need a safe space. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. All right, down to the nitty-gritty, guys. I'm going to wrap up this show here pretty quick. So if you have any arguments for squares to be circled, put them in there now if I haven't already seen them. If you're being serious, that'd take a year or more. Well, It's true. It's true. It'd be a big project if somebody were actually going to do that. My avatar as it is an amazing piece of work by Knight of Charlemagne way back in the day. I have credited him in every single video or stream I've ever done since in the description below, as well as Joey Pecoraro, who has graciously, on various occasions, whitelisted my channel for use of that song for my intro. So, yeah. Attribution. I think I made, not I think you made. Are you correcting my grammar? What? Circle equity, since you mentioned it. It had to be something that was at least passingly about diversity, equity, and inclusion. The concept, not just the words. Not just the words. Ask Rock to make you a blue Sheba in a different style. Blue Sheba? Yeah, we'll see. All right. Not seeing any other arguments. Math in your thumbnail should be maths since the speaker is British. Math in my thumbnail? I don't know what you mean. The thumbnail says, Mindfulness maketh man. I was doing a takeoff on the Kingsman. I used the same font as the Kingsman poster because that was the reference. But yeah, mindfulness maketh man instead of manners maketh man. So must have missing it. It's okay. That's all right. No worries. No worries. I'm happy to correct. But anyway, everyone, that is the show. If you're watching this in the future and you have arguments for squares to be circled, you can always leave a comment below. And if you convince me with your argument to circle a square after the fact, I will do so and update the bingo card on the Discord server. By the way, did you know that I have a Discord server? This is where we will debate the merits of perhaps revising or qualifying different bingo card squares. Link to the Discord server is in the chat right now. Just click on that link. You'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you just have to say the secret word. The secret word will tell me that you are not a bot, actually watch the stream, and have thus earned the right, the privilege, the entitlement to join the Discord server. And today's secret word is Choden. Yeah, just say hello, Choden. However you choose to spell it, and I'll know that you watched the show, and you can join the Discord server. Outside of that, yeah, well, okay. The current plan is that I'm going to be gone this weekend visiting Mama Scribe and Papa Scribe. Things have occurred in the last 24 hours that may throw a wrench into that, so I'm still going to be operating on that basis that I will be absent both Saturday and Sunday this week, and there will not be a Saturday or a Sunday stream. If that changes, you'll know about it probably about the same time I do. But I'll let you know if that's the case. But you should be able to find me tomorrow morning, Friday morning, at 9:05 a.m. Pacific Time, noon 05 p.m. Eastern Time on Midnight's Edge in the morning, where we'll talk about Fantastic Four box office stuff, or pre-box office preview monies, and reactions thereto, and other things coming up in the wonderful world of entertainment. So looking forward to that tomorrow morning on Midnight's Edge in the morning. And yeah, otherwise, you can find me here Monday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the next episode of DEI Death Watch. I already have some news stories to share with you on Monday. And then, of course, next Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, the next episode of TEDXcellence, where we'll do this all over again. So there you go, everybody. Otherwise, everyone, thank you for joining me. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone here is so well behaved. You have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated either to myself or the GoFundMe pinned at the top of the chat box, thank you guys so much for your generosity. On the way out, if you'd leave a like, I'd appreciate it, or a dislike, or a comment if you're watching in the future. That apparently is a necessity now to verify that you actually watched the show. And again, if you see this over on the X machine, please retweet it out on X. Everyone, Hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday night. Hope you have a good Friday ahead of you and weekend. If I don't talk to you again before Monday, have a good rest of it. And also, I hope you're safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.